Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k. We're on the 6th of December. We're on a countdown to Christmas, of course, doing our Tyranids and Necrons theme until Christmas Eve. And yeah, we've been doing all sorts of videos so far. Yesterday we did a top 10 combined characters from the two codexes. No spoilers here, so if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that one. There should be a playlist, in fact, if you missed any of the videos in this countdown to Christmas. Just a little shout out to both sets of players here, Necrons or Tyranids. We do have a Necrons, well, it's a general Discord for 40k, and we also have a Tyranids only Discord. So they'll be in, I think the Necrons one is down below, or the 40k one is down below. The Tyranids one will be on the Tyranids channel, somewhere in the video descriptions. But yeah, there's a Discord if you want to get questions in, ask stuff from other people, or just share your painting and things like that. Get involved in the Discord. But yeah, without further ado, let's get on with this video, which is going to be a video putting the Nightbringer, Katana of the Nightbringer, going up against a Hive Tyrant. And this is purely the fight phase only. And the question is, who outslays who? So that's what we're doing today. Who wins in melee? So we're talking about purely the fight phase here. We're not going to be talking about the gaze of death from the Nightbringer. We're not going to be talking about any heavy venom cannons from the Hive Tyrant. None of that stuff. Purely fighting. So let's get into what we got here today. I want to start with the Nightbringer. The Nightbringer has a movement of 6 inches, toughness 11, 4 plus armor, 12 wounds, 6 up leadership, object control is 4. He's got a new 5 plus fear no pain save alongside his 4 plus invulnerable save. The Necrodermis, the half all damage characteristics on any incoming fire or melee attacks. So if you are damage 3, that will go to 1.5, which rounds up to a 2. Of course, he's got reanimation protocol, so in our command phase we are going to be healing D3 lost wounds. Now, as for the Hive Tyrant, movement of 8 inches, toughness 10, so slightly less in terms of toughness. 2 plus armor save, which is better, but the same invulnerable save of a 4 plus. Wounds 10, which is slightly worse, only by 2. Leadership 7 and OC 3. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to add one of the enhancements from the invasion fleet to this video today. Because I believe the point, I know I don't have the exact points right now for the Nightbringer, but I believe the points are slightly indifferent. So we're going to add the adaptive biology from Invasion Hive Fleet to give a 5 plus 4 no pain save to the Hive Tyrant. And as soon as he takes any damage, or as soon as he has been damaged from then onwards, for the rest of the battle, it's a 4 plus 4 no pain save instead. So we're going to give that for this video alone. Now in terms of the detachment, I'm going to go with, well of course we're going with the hyper adaptations. We're going to be using the lethal hits against monsters and vehicles, which of course will interact with a Nightbringer because he's a monster. So Hive Tyrant will also have lethal hits on his melee side. Then the Nightbringer's detachment doesn't really matter. Nothing really synchronizes to make his fighting any better. You can hyperphase him in, but that's not going to really relate to the maths on today's video. So we're not going to really have anything there. And he can't have any enhancements anyway. So let's move into the Nightbringer first. Let's go through these weapons and then see what kind of damage it can do to a Hive Tyrant. So he's got 2 profiles, the Scythe of the Nightbringer with a strike profile or a sweep profile. In today's video, we're very likely going to be using that strike profile because that's the better one. But I wanted to just display both for viewing purposes. So this has got devastating wounds, it's 6 attacks, weapon skill 2 plus, strength 14, minus 4 AP, and the new damage of D6 plus 2. He has been bumped up to plus 2 this time, which is nice, alongside dev wounds especially. So I've displayed also at the bottom of this screen here the statistics for the Hive Tyrant. Of course, we have to add that feel no pain save in later on as well when we do the maths. We're not going to forget, do not worry. So, when we are using the Scythe of the Nightbringer as the strike profile, this is what it does. So it's going to be doing around 7 to 8 damage in the very first fight phase because you've got a 5 plus feel no pain save. From then onwards, the feel no pain save becomes a 4 plus because he's taken damage. So then it's going to become, instead of 7 to 8 damage, you're looking at around 5.7, so 5 to 6 damage from the second fight phase onwards, effectively. So what does that mean in terms of how many fight phases are needed in order to kill the Hive Tyrant? Well, he's only got 10 wounds. So if you're doing 7 to 8 in one fight phase and 5 to 6 in another, that's 2 fight phases is enough. I mean, we're presuming he's not taking any damage at range here, and we're not putting that in this video at all. I just want to be clear on that. Of course, the gaze of death could be enough to then put him down by a few wounds, and then 7 or 8 damage in the first fight phase is done. We know that. But purely on the fight phase alone, it's going to take 2 phases. Potentially 1 though, because there is an ability which is in the fight phase, so I will include this with Drain Life, So you roll 1d6 for enemies within 6 inches, and on a 4+, they suffer d3. So if you do 8 damage in melee, and then you roll a 4+, and then on the mortal wounds front, you're going to be doing maybe 2 on average. It could potentially just wipe him out in 1. So there is actually a way of doing it in 1, but I'm going to go 2 fight phases just to be safe here. Now, as for the Hive Tyrant side, well, you've got the melee weapon of the monstrous bone sword and lash whip with lethal hits. Don't forget, invasion fleet. It's twin linked, 6 attacks, hit on 2s, strength 9, minus 2 AP, and 3 damage. So the strength is lacking slightly, especially against toughness 11. And of course, the damage is not as good. I mean, the minimum damage that the Nightbringer did was 3. It's d6 plus 2, which matches here. So it isn't as strong, but there are more attacks with the monstrous Scything Talons. They're extra attacks, 4 of them in total, strength 7, minus 2 AP, 2 damage. So there is an opportunity to do a bit more there. Now, there's a lot to get through. The Feel No Pain save, again, the Invuln save, as we know, halving damage, and reanimation, we know. So what we're going to be doing with the Bone Swords, you're looking at about 2.2 damage per fight phase. That's with the Feel No Pain save included and the halving damage included, because 3 halved will basically become 2 because it rounds up. With the Scything Talons, you're looking at 0.5 because that becomes 1 damage. And strength 7 is you're wounded on 5s. There's an Invuln save, Feel No Pain save. Yeah, it's not looking great with the Scything Talons. So all in all, you're looking at 2.7. So maybe 3 damage per fight phase. So if you're looking at 2.7 per fight phase, then in theory that's between 4 and 5 fight phases to actually clear the Nightbringer. But here lies the next problem. And you know what's coming, right? We've done this a few times now, but you've got to do it, and it's the Necron rule, isn't it? Reanimation protocols. So in between each fight phase effectively, well no, not each fight phase, it's just our command phase. So every second fight phase, if you like, or after every 2 fight phases, sorry, the Nightbringer is going to be healing D3 lost wounds. Naturally as well, that's naturally. So that 2.7 you've just done, it likely just goes, well, maybe it goes to 1. In fact, it could all go. If you roll good on the reanimation, it could all go. So that's a problem. That's a huge problem for Tyranids in general going up against Necrons, because you lack in strength with a lot of your big stuff. You get to like strength 9 and then it sort of stops unless you go really big with like Tyrannifexes and stuff like that. But I mean, the Hive Tyrant is a beast. I mean, the Swarm Lord as well has the same sort of figure, strength 9, and he's an animal. So going up against Katana is a real struggle for you guys. Now let's look at some synergy, some sort of variables that could relate to this video. I'll start with the Nightbringer first, and in insult to injury here, but we've got the Reanimator within 3 inches, if it was within 3 inches, to add an additional D3 lost wounds in the reanimation. So yeah, that just wipes out both fight phases. A Technomancer that's within a close by unit can heal the model D3 lost wounds. But from a Tyranid point of view, you could take the Maleceptor with the Diffusion Aura. So enemy units within 6 is a -1 to hit, and if they're below half strength, which it probably won't be to be fair, it's a -1 to wound. If you get a -1 to hit, that would help, and a -1 to wound will definitely help, but it's just getting it to that stage, and that's, you know, quite a point to sink in itself. You've got the Neurolictor, the ability for, first of all, you force Battle Shock within 12 inches, then the Psychological Saboteur Aura. If anything's Battle Shock within 12, you can make them have a -1 to the hit roll and a +1 to Tyranid units to wound against them. So having your Hive Tyrant have a +1 to wound, whilst the Nightbringer has a -1 to hit, that's a super powerful buff. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think before the Codex was changed, and this is when I did plan this before the Codex was changed, I think it was a slightly more of a fairer fight. I think the Nightbringer still would win, but after seeing the damage outlet with D6 +2 and then the Feel No Pain save given to the Nightbringer, it does massively swing it towards the Nightbringer. So unfortunately, it's another Necron win. This time the reanimation wasn't as clutch because I think the Nightbringer still just demolishes the Hive Tyrant without reanimation, but it is such a feel bad when the Nightbringer slays the Hive Tyrant and then just starts to reanimate, and then by the end of it all, he's like back on full wounds and you've lost the Hive Tyrant. That's a huge feel bad. I think something needs to change with Tyranids. I don't know what it is. Something needs to get... Maybe the Swarm Lord and the Hive Tyrant need a better strength. Or just monsters in general. They just need to up the strength. Get it to sort of the strength 11s. Just somewhere around that area so they can deal with the slightly heavier vehicles and monsters. Not going up to strength 14. That's too much. But these kind of units, they can't deal with them. So guys, that has been the 6th of December for the countdown to Christmas. I will see you tomorrow on the 7th. Have a good one.